What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, Connor on Chain. So I got a new thesis along the lines of SocialFi. So we're gonna dive into it with Zora here in 1 minute. So I'm gonna give you guys my thesis behind Zora, why I like it, some bullish things about it. And this is a coin that I'm holding, full disclosure. I do own some. I actually have to add a lot more because I do not have large enough of a bag yet where I'm comfortable with. I need to start adding more, but I do own some right now with Zora. Let's get into it. So, Zora here. Actually, let me yawn first. I've been yawning like crazy. So we got Zora. So what is Zora? Zora, to put it very short and plain, is a social media platform with a lot of crypto intertwined within it. And when I say that there's a lot of crypto intertwined within it, it means that most of these posts, if not every single post, is tokenized. It is tokenized content. You know, we saw about, I think a month ago, 2 months ago, if you guys are, full out degen, you're consistently on crypto Twitter every day, you likely saw that there was a lot of stuff going on crypto Twitter with Jesse from Base talking about content coins. This was the first time, kind of when Zora started to get a little bit of attention, but it wasn't for the best reason because these content coins, at the moment they weren't really doing anything. There's actually of this coin called Base is for Everyone. This was a kind of a controversy on crypto Twitter because a lot of people are like, why are you posting about some meme, some tokenized, content, basically like a picture of this or, whatever this piece of content was. But, when I first started seeing that, I knew that there was some truth to this and there's a lot of interesting things going on. So I have a video here going over a little bit more about, they call it tokenized social. So this is one of the founders here, Jacob. And he goes into, I'm not going to play the whole thing. He goes into Zora a little bit, just to give you guys an idea. And then something I want to scroll down to give you guys another look between what Zora can do versus regular social media. And it's kind of funny because it's literally in this thread of comments.
Crypto way of saying there are assets which have been issued, and
so
open markets just means that you can buy and sell those assets or direct your capital to them or form your capital around them as like an investment of sorts. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna use the reason why markets monetize the post, and then open markets at the creator coin level, which means you're able to form capital around profiles. Those are all the ingredients you need to form what I'm gonna call a new creator economy. So it's like the domino effect to get there is actually by...
So bottom line, I know I skipped that. Basically creating the new creator economy. Very interesting stuff. And what that means is he was kind of talking about meme coins. They were kind of like the beginning of this. But the fact that now we have a platform where anyone can kind of post anything they want and actually tokenize it, it brings a whole new speculation to either, if you want to treat whether it's videos, photos, any sort of content that you want to actually tokenize, it can become its own internet market. It can become its own capital market based on content. And I want to get into something probably at the end of the video covering this stuff that is, to me, very bullish. So we'll keep going on that. So the thing too, so this is their Twitter, is literally @Zora. But what I wanted to see here is shout out this dude, this bear poster. We got Zora is pretty much irrelevant. And I don't think you can seriously compare it to the New York Stock Exchange, unless I totally misunderstood your point. Which this must have been a different point in this video, which I'm not covering. Then you got this dude here. Have you used it? Try the mobile app. Bro, I've been using the mobile app since the beta days, but I still don't get what makes Zora better than Web 2 social apps. And this is the post I wanted to show you, because this is basically most, if not all of the really good things about creating a platform like Zora and having social media tokenized, this, and just having it on Web3, having it built on a blockchain, like whatever you want to consider it and speculate on it. But with traditional social, you got closed markets, tokenized social, open markets, minimum follower requirements, no eligibility requirements, globally accessible, on platform. I mean, some of these things, I guess, but something with tokenized social, which I will get into. This is one of the most bullish things: is uncapped earnings, capped earnings. But the thing is too is there are different ways you can actually earn within something like Zora, which I will get into. Age restricted, open to everyone. Creatively empowering, which can empower creators to actually make them money off of their content. Censorship resistant as well. Permissionless issuance. I can't even talk right now. Those are some of the good things. So let's get into the earnings aspect. So if we go to Zora, so I'm actually going to pull up another post here. So we got the the network state right here. So this is one specific post, but I want to bring this up. So anyone can create an account on Zora. And what you can do is just start tokenizing content. You can tokenize your videos, tokenize your photos, whatever you want. So we have this person here, Balaji. He's actually a pretty big figure on Twitter. He runs something called the network state, which is kind of an interesting thing as well. But I'm not going to get into that. It's not really the point of this. But anyways, he dropped the network state, which is actually I think it's like a digital book or something that he has. And this is the website, thenetworkstate.com. What is bullish, though, is this, I think, was one of the first tokenized pieces of content that we saw actually do something, like do something crazy on Zora, which I know when I say that, we had a coin go to 7-8 million in market cap and then nuke to zero. Yes, it's going to be very, very speculative within anything new in crypto. Keep that in mind. But the fact that this coin here, this is what it looks like. Chart looks like shit. I would not be buying it here. But with Zora here, we saw this pump and have a crazy run. But this, I think, this is what really sparked me to look back into Zora again. But we saw this end up running and absolutely mooning because there's a lot of truth and there's a lot of good things behind the fact that how this launched through Zora. Some random person, aka, I mean, he's not a random person, but this dude, anyone can come out of nowhere and tokenize their own content. But the fact that his content coin ended up running and showing that there is some sort of demand in some sort of way really is what sparked my attention. So let's get into some other stuff with it too. So this network state token that he dropped, which is the thing I was going to mention and why I'm bullish too, is because this thing ended up running, even though it ran for a day. This person has made 15,000 off rewards. Granted, it's been out now for at least 2 weeks or something, a week and a half. I could be wrong. A week? Excuse me, May 25th to, maybe a week. But no, the fact that he's earning money right now off of these creator rewards, I think is pretty bullish. Meaning if anyone drops a token, aka if they tokenize any of their content, again, it could be a video, photo, documents, whatever you want it to be. You're tokenizing this. If it gets the right attention and it blows up and it becomes something huge, you are seeing legitimate revenue likely coming in because of your content and off of creator earnings. Creators earn rewards from trading activity. Rewards are a percentage of the funds spent from trading. And that's something that they have built in. So anyone that posts, if you're, again, I guess within crypto, if any of these posts go viral, likely people are going to be bidding on it to buy it because as an investment. And the fact that creators can now basically, they can earn money, earn a lot of capital from that off of becoming the daily runner or something like that, is super interesting. That is very bullish to me. And obviously, like I said, it's very, very new as far as Zora token being out and having this tokenized stuff live for, creators to be earning and all this stuff. But This was a great rendition, at least for me to fully start looking back into this. Excuse me. So let's get into a couple other things that I'm really bullish on for Zora. So right now their team, I don't believe is, I don't want to say it's not fully doxed. They do have a lot of their team members listed. Okay, thank you. But they do have, I guess, 6 team members here that are listed on cryptorank.io. This is a great platform to use if you don't use it. So let's get into it too, is because they got a really strong team they've been building for a long time. I think the SocialFi aspect of it is incredibly bullish. Creator fees, all these different things lining up. And something too, well, I'll get into in a second, but chart as well looks very, very good. I don't want to say that this is at the complete bottom. I'm not saying that this is not going to go any lower, because it could. It could dump another 30, 40, 50% from here. I do not know, but like I said, I own it. Understanding that risk well ahead of time, I'm willing to risk right now, whatever price I'm buying at, that yes, Zora could probably dump 30, 40, 50% from here, but I'm willing to see eventually that this ends up taking off, and or if this sort of SocialFi meta ends up becoming something. So you're kind of risking anywhere from 20, 30, 40, 50, 60% of whatever you're putting into this versus the chance to make incredible gains. And I'm going to tell you why, if this does take off, why this will go nuts. It will go crazier than a lot of projects. And so you guys see this spike in the chart right here, right? This was off one single day. And I'm going to put it this way, this one pump in the market, which this pumped Zora, again, granted it's at 30 million in market cap. What is the liquidity is pretty low, right? It wasn't, it's not insane. 1.4 million. So liquidity is fairly low as well. What did I just have up? Yeah, I was literally looking up the network state too. It's before this, I actually didn't even know what that was. I'll pull it up at the end. Oh yeah, my mind is in 20 places right now where I don't even know where I was just looking at. Right here. We got Zora right now. This pump, what did it end up doing? 30 to 40%. What off of what? When was that pump on Zora? May 25th. What launched on the 25th? This thing. The network state. One single launch that barely went up for less than a day. Ended up mooning. Obviously, this coin, it mooned. But what did it do to Zora? Zora actually pumped. And now you're going to ask yourself, why did Zora pump when that happened? Because if you look at it right now, Zora is paired with the network state. What does that mean? That means that if you want to be buying any of these posts on Zora, you actually need to buy the Zora token first. Because when you're buying the Zora token, this is what is going to drive heavy demand into Zora, is if a lot of these content coins, if they actually start taking off consistently time and time again, if this actually catches on, like something like this did. Again, even though this was only for a day, this is like a glimpse at what could potentially happen. That is where I'm looking at this right now. And again, the fact that Zora pumped out of nowhere 30 to 40% off of that single post for, this coin after a couple hours, to me that shows the kind of demand that could happen out of nowhere for this coin. This could pump like crazy. And again, the other reason though is going to be this post here. So this was actually a newer post from early May. So all new coins are paired with Zora instead of ETH because it was paired with ETH before. Creators now earn rewards in Zora. I should have probably put this up before. But you can buy coins using Zora and USDC, and you can manage your Zora in the app. So bottom line, what am I saying here is I'm going to leave a video above where I talked about in the past, Virtual's protocol was a huge project for me, and it mainly for the research behind why it was so successful. And I have been looking for a project that resembles Virtual's protocol since Virtual's ended up mooning like it did 6-7 months ago. And Zora within SocialFi, in my opinion, fits that criteria. Not 100%, but is the closest thing to it that I have found within crypto today. The angle with that is, again, because with Virtual's protocol, they had token pairing with Virtual. And the thing is what was the hype narrative at the moment at that time? It was AI agents. Everyone wanted to buy into Virtual's AI agents. So what did people have to do? They had to flood their tokens straight into Virtual first. They had to buy Virtual and then flood right into the agents. The thing with Zora is they have photos and videos. This to me is a clear way for creators, for really anyone within crypto as well, to start getting attention out of nowhere. Because with AI agents, it was a big thing because a lot of them were autonomously tweeting. Agents were getting attention out of nowhere from their tweeting, from all this different stuff. Another project, if they're going to actually compete in some sort of way, I would think they need to capture attention on crypto Twitter, just like AI agents did. And if Zora can do that with content, with videos and photos and stuff like that, this is where this could end up becoming a very similar flywheel to Virtual, but just in a different way in relation to photos and videos. That is my thesis right now for Zora, because they have a good tokenomics flywheel that works hand in hand with this. It's in a new narrative, SocialFi, on base, that, again, it's not a big narrative whatsoever at all right now, but that's what you're speculating and betting on, which is why you're jumping into this at the ground level while no one is talking about it still. That is the risk you're taking, even also too, outside of everything, guys, if Bitcoin ends up nuking, if everything goes to shit in the next few months, obviously this thesis will not play out regardless. If Bitcoin dumps, everything in the market will be tanking another 20%, 30, 40, 50. So you got to keep that in mind above everything here. But this has been my main thesis lately with Zora. And we also have been seeing Farcaster again getting a little bit of attention, which Farcaster, I don't think they have their own token, but it's almost like another SocialFi type platform that actually does get, good amount of use, which is kind of cool. But to me too, is Zora is also backed by Coinbase. You can see it right here, which I think is pretty bullish as well. But bottom line, Zora is literally, it's an L2, But the thing is too, is the fact that they're token pairing with what I believe can be the next hype things that people are going to start looking at, is like tokenized videos, tokenized photos, stuff like that. I think this is a real solid potential to end up running at some point. Again, it's not going to run tomorrow. It's not going to pump off this video. That's like, I don't make videos strictly for that, to just watch it go 5x. Like, I literally do not care. I'm speculating on the entire market at some point catching on to this and then kind of going along with it. And this is just SocialFi though. There's so many different narratives, different projects that I have my own theses for. This is one of them. Zora is SocialFi as far as for mid 2025 here. That is what I wanted to cover today. Oh no, I'm sorry, there's one more thing that is very bullish, and actually half the reason why I'm bullish as well is their token unlocks, their tokenomics right now is, I think, very bullish, lining up for the next 6 months. We got their vesting schedule, which is, I think they're pretty transparent about all their stuff. They have 0 unlocks until October of 2025. And to me personally, the reason why I think that's very bullish is because I don't think we have another year, 2 years of a bull run. I don't think anyone does. If altcoins are going to run, it should be within the next 3 to 6 months, maybe 7. And I think, honestly, if unlocks just start at that point, I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal if the project finally does get attention at that point. But for now, there is no unlocks on this token until the end of the year. So it gives a really good span of time where you don't have to think about anything with this coin. I think that's very bullish. And that's the kind of thing I look for with a lot of tokenomics. Yes, it's like 30 something percent unlocked, 35% unlocked. So it's still somewhat low float, but at the end of the day, the fact that this isn't going to change for almost 5 months, to me, I'm bullish on that. I like that. So personally, I like that risk to reward, and I like my own thesis on this. That is what I wanted to cover with Zora, guys. It's going to be, time will tell if this ends up even becoming something. But like I said, this is the kind of research that I love to do. Just finding coins with a good thesis behind it and why they can run. This, to me, I think is a very good reason to run, though, if it does. But outside of that, that is what I wanted to cover in this video. I appreciate you all watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. I'm going to be dropping a video on a DeSci coin in the next day or the next 2 days that, in my opinion, is very similar in a sense of how I'm looking at Zora here. But you guys will see that soon. But outside of that, I appreciate it. Losing my voice now. But I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks.